Kyle Orton's throat pick to Brandon Boykin was that one comes to mind.
I was at that game.
You were at God, that must have sucked for you.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yeah. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone. If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
I don't know. So we have to wait 8 months?
Yeah.
Listen, shoot me up with anything that's not heroin. Let's get this show on the road.
We're good to go. Welcome, everybody, to episode 89 of Birds vs. Boys. I am officially blood clotless, I guess I could say, and Aidan is fading into oblivion. But we're here, and that's all that matters. We're here for you because your listening pleasure and your visual pleasure is what we are here to play with. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in once again. We got producer Vince in the background, as always. Cowboys coming off a massive embarrassment of a loss, and the Eagles coming off a close, what could have been, loss against the Chargers. But we're here. Aidan, I hear you're feeling not too good, you said, but you're here.
I'm here, and I'm always here. I'm always ready to go. I'm good. I'm not great. A lot of moral victories in Philadelphia this week, which I would kind of rather have just victories in general between, like you mentioned, with the Eagles, hard-fought loss against the Chargers, shoulda, coulda, woulda, was kind of right there, close game down to the finish. Sixers playing with a JV team right now. They're coming close, but not quite in some of these losses. So I'm good, but I'm not great because there's a lot of moral victories, not victories.
But like you said, like you're here, and people forget about the things that you go through to get here. MCL, meniscus, right? And you're always here. You always show up.
I'm always ready to go.
You are.
Always.
Before we get into, actually, no, you give the technical notes, and then I'll go off on a quick little tangent that I haven't even told you about that I want to go off on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll make the technical notes quick. We have a good interview tonight with Brenden Deeg. If you are part of Eagles Twitter, you probably recognize the name and have seen his tweets before, but he's also a writer for the Football Post and the host of the Double Doink podcast. So we're going to have him on. This is a great time to have him on at the halfway point in the season for the Eagles. And like I said, you've probably seen his work before on Twitter. So now you get to hear his work with us. So should be a good interview with him. And really also, we are 4 subscribers away from 200 on YouTube. So I'm going to keep pushing that agenda to subscribe on YouTube. But that's about it for technical notes, and I will hand it over to you. I'm always down for a good rant.
Yeah, and definitely subscribe to the YouTube. Again, you smashed that reaction pod. I screwed up this week. I was in New York City watching, and then I was supposed to do it, and then I was supposed to do it, and there's just a lot going on, and I didn't do it. So I will be back on it this week. I'm not going anywhere this weekend. I will be home in the back cave. Cowboys play at 1. As soon as that game's over, I will do my reaction pod. So absolutely subscribe to the YouTube. So real quick, I want to share my screen, if I may.
You may.
So I put out a tweet last Monday, joking about the child that is coming into the world that my wife and I have made. My people that don't know, I'm a Cowboys fan. My wife is an Eagles fan. And I thought this tweet was going to get 7 retweets, right? If you can see here, 2,240 retweets, 181 quote tweets, 1,800 likes. You can even see the Twitter analytics here, almost 1 million impressions, okay? People on Twitter are fucking losers.
We're just no.
This is not a new thing. This is just I got welcomed back to it. The amount, I know a lot of people Dak Prescott retweeted this. Okay, Dak Prescott's bro. So then I immediately think Dak Prescott knows who I am. Dak Prescott saw this. He knows I'm having a child. Awesome, but the amount of people and losers that came at me saying, this is really how you're going to parent your kid? Let the child decide. The child has an option to know what it wants to be. It's a fucking joke, you losers. It's about what kind of onesie my wife and I are going to put the kid in on Sundays watching football before the child has thoughts of its own. If it wants to be a Dolphins fan and live in misery, congratulations. I will back you the entire way, kid. But the fact that I had to put out, if I can find it, a announcement tweet to this saying, this was a joke. This was all about a onesie. Blows my mind, Aidan.
At least I think at least it was like 80-20, like 90-10 or 80-20 in terms of like people understanding and just being like, I want this kid to grow up a Cowboys fan.
There we go.
There's always just one contrarian who like understands the point but purposely misses the point.
I had one person quote tweet the tweet. Right. This is the most outlandish thing I've ever seen. You shouldn't be allowed to be a parent. This is obscene. And then immediately block me, and I couldn't respond. Like, what?
Did they have a real profile picture, or was it like a frog or
no? It was a cat
robot.
And that's my next rule about Facebook and Twitter. Never interact with people that have dogs or cats or birds as their fucking picture. But
yeah,
this has been my week. It came back this week because I don't know, somebody big retweeted it, and then I shout out a lot of Eagle fans in there, and they weren't like dishing it, but they're just like, fly Eagles, fly. It was fun. It made it a lot of fun. It was kind of like this podcast going back and forth. But yeah, so many losers that I just made me want to quit Twitter. I can't imagine being like a big celebrity. The amount of just like my phone was just like, I had to mute it.
Well, yeah, you can just mute the notifications.
But then in your brain, I'm like, but I want to see.
Oh, yeah. I think, I don't know. Twitter is the cesspool, and I wouldn't have it anymore if it weren't for the fact that I kind of need it to get to where I want to go professionally. So, yeah, absolutely. It sucks.
There's my diatribe.
Speaking of Twitter, what a week between the Aaron Rodgers thing and then Odell kind of got swept under the rug last week because we had so much other stuff going on in the craziest around the NFL of all time. And he is going to make a decision here soon, but that's going to be our TikTok tonight.
Yep.
So we're not going to really do that for around the NFL. We're going to do top destinations for Odell on the back end on the TikTok. So stay tuned for that. Do you have anything around the NFL before we talk about our upcoming games this week?
Real quick, another rant from me. Has the officiating been worse this year, or is it always every year we're just like, these officials stink?
Here's my working theory. I have an analogy. It's going to piss people off, so I'm not going to use it. But it's in
you hanging the officials in Afghanistan?
No. It's not as bad as the public hangings that I've called for. But I think just like the advancements of technology, we just notice more. So like for instance, on Monday Night Football, that was a disaster, a masterclass of what not to do as an official. The flag, that was awful. For everyone,
look at me. This is my field.
Yes, the emphasis on the flag toss was an absolutely Joe West look at me kind of move. But I thought that the call in the first half where the Bears were at the 1 yard line, scored a touchdown, and then had to go back to the 16-yard line on a 15-yard penalty based on blocking outside of the tight end box. I thought that was the most egregious call, but we have the technology to look at a box and be like, all right, he clearly wasn't out of that tight end box. That shouldn't have been called. And maybe we didn't have that before. So we're now, as technology advances, we're noticing more and more missed calls. But if you're the NFL and you're the NFL officials, why don't use that to your advantage? Like, how quickly did the Monday Night Football crew, and they brought in the rules analyst, was like, nope, wrong call. That's wrong. He was clearly, here's the box. We put the graphic on the screen. Boom. That was like in less than 10 seconds time
Mm-hmm.
that they pulled that off. Someone should be in the NFL official's ear who's on the field and be like, nope, wrong call, man. Hey, sorry. That was not a penalty. He actually was inside the tight end's box. That was a legal block. Boom.
Yep.
That took 10 seconds.
Easy.
It's quick.
Yep.
And a lot of these calls, and I know they're trying to do it now, where instead of the challenges where it takes a little bit longer, they're just buzzing down to the field, being like, that was an incomplete pass. It bounced. It's not a catch. And then we don't have to go through that whole process. Use that more. Like, we need to be putting more emphasis on that. Use the technology advances to your advantage.
Yep.
Because right now it's working against you.
Yep. And it's been outrageously terrible. Even unfortunately, this happened against the Cowboys on Sunday with the block punt. They block the punt. It goes past the line of scrimmage. Nashawn Wright touches off his fingertips. Broncos get the ball. And someone buzzed down and said, that's Broncos ball. Unfortunately, but it happened quickly. Everyone was like, what are you talking about? But then they showed it. And that is the rule. But it hurt me. But it, like you said, it worked out quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's one of those plays. If that's a close game after the game, you would have saw that going viral on Twitter.
Yep.
People being like, look, this actually touched the Cowboys player.
Oh.
Rules subsection C, part B, 2.1a says that when it goes past the line of scrimmage, touches the Cowboys player, that the Broncos can then recover it and maintain possession. And that would have been a big whole ordeal. So the fact that they caught that, I know it worked against you, but that's what we should be doing. These are the things. We're living in 2021. We're living in 2021. If
the Cowboys kept that ball, scored, then it's only a 16-7 game. It's a completely different game. Come back and win. Yeah, that would have been on get up still today.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
You
could beat Odell out.
Oh God.
The top story.
Officiate. This is not like officiating. I'm going to share my screen again, but fining. So I don't know if you saw this the other day. Have you seen this in slow motion?
You
CeeDee
sent
Lamb.
it to us.
Yeah,
he got choked to death.
Look at this. Literally choking Harrison Smith, choking CeeDee Lamb on this. Watch his hand go up. Like, hello. Aaron Rodgers gets fined $14,000 for COVID infractions, which is, I saw it's the equivalent of fining a normal human $33. CeeDee Lamb gets fined $20,000 last week for having his shirt untucked. But then Harrison Smith gets nothing for trying to choke him to death on the sideline.
Yeah, I always just felt like the NFL has always been like this, though, right? Like they just they never know the magnitude. They just don't really use common sense in any of their infractions. It's been that way. Like the classic example is the Ray Rice thing, where it was a suspension of 2 games. And everyone's like, hey, that probably should have been more than 2 games. But then everything past that, it'll be like, oh, so-and-so got suspended for blowing a dandelion too hard, and he got 4 games. But Ray Rice only got 2. So it's like the NFL just always gets it wrong because they just kind of lack the common sense to do it right. But they don't care because we consume the product anyway.
Because they are the shield, and that is that.
But yeah, that's true, but I feel like the one ref does have to be reprimanded. Like you clearly did the hip check Trae Young drawing a foul on a player. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
And then he said, yeah, him bumping into me had nothing to do with the flag.
Even though he threw his hip out and then immediately threw the flag right after that.
Oh, God.
I just don't know what. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah,
that was
Tony Corrente.
Optically terrible.
Oh, God.
All
right. That's all I got.
All right. You're off to a grumpy start. I don't know. 1 loss and you are off the rails.
Second loss.
No, I mean like you've been rolling
after 6 weeks.
You get 1 loss. Yeah. Now you're all grumpy. Mm-hmm. Do you have anything nice to say about the Cowboys this week? They're playing a terrorist organization.
Yeah,
I think they'll be all right.
All right. So yeah, like you said, they're coming off the biggest loss of the season. They got absolutely beat down, bamboozled, punched in the face, whatever you want to call it. I finally get to watch a Cowboys game surrounded by Cowboys fans at a bar in Manhattan. You can find whatever you want in New York City. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, oh, yeah. He's like, yep, there's a bar. Let's go.
I went to a 49ers bar there one time.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Don't know why.
It was great.
Yeah.
But they they lost 30-16. Actually, they lost 30-0. That's what I'm going to say. I don't count
Yep.
the 2 touchdowns at the end. They lost
Mhm.
30-0. There was a brand new bartender there. This girl, she's like, I know nothing about football, but we have these blue shots that I need to give out when there's a touchdown scored. So someone just tell me when to put the shots out. We're like, okay. It was like 19-0. And this guy's like, now the shots now. She's like, oh, okay. So yeah, they got absolutely beat down at home. They got embarrassed in the stands as well. The amount of orange jerseys, the noise, and then Jerry Jones coming out this week on the radio and saying, hey, these fans own those seats. They can do whatever they want with them. Like, what?
Oh, wow. Oh, terrible response.
Awful.
Oh my God.
He's like, they own them. They're the seat. They have seat licenses. They're theirs to do with what they want.
Terrible response.
Horrible.
Wow, I can't believe he said that.
Oh yeah, he said it on 105.3 with Sean and our friend of the show, RJ Choppy. Yeah, just blows my mind. But they're back home again.
Thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, and those were the hottest ticket of the year for a home Dallas game this year, the Broncos game.
I think the Broncos have an underrated fan base.
Do.
It's not that far, and it's one of those places, it's like a destination place to go, and it's not often that the Denver Broncos go there, so they took full advantage of the opportunity. That's what that was.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. But yeah, so now we're doing what football coaches always say. We're taking the tape and we're digging a hole and we're burying it. Or like Mike McCarthy.
Dan Campbell literally said that.
Literally. That, like, I don't even think literally said it. They literally did it. Like they dug a hole outside and buried the tape.
Yes. Against the Eagles.
It's the most football guy move ever.
Oh, they needed to do that. That was awful. There's nothing you could have learned from that game.
No. So last year, after the Cowboys coming off a 2-game loss, Mike McCarthy brought some watermelons into the locker room. I don't know if you remember this. Actually brought them to Minnesota and smashed watermelons before the game.
I could go for a watermelon right now.
Right? Love watermelon. So I don't know if he's going to put the game tape in a watermelon and smash it or what, but they need to move forward and now focus solely on the terrorist organization that is the Atlanta Falcons. So I don't know if you remember last year's game.
How could I forget? It is top 3 in Falcons lore of just screw ups that they have had. Obviously, the Super Bowl.
Wasn't that the watermelon kick?
Yes, it was.
You were so mad after that game.
It's just, I hate them so much. They just always find new ways to lose, but it always screws me over somehow. I'm not going to do the rant. We've done enough rants tonight. They have been playing well. I like what they have. They've been doing it without Calvin Ridley. They have our guy, Kyle Pitts. I think the most hilarious thing about their team is that Cordarrelle Patterson's been in this league for what, like 7-8 years?
Yep.
And the Falcons are like the first team just now to figure this out and utilize him the right way.
Yeah. I have that. I actually have that on my notes right here. That last week, the Broncos just ran it down the throat of the Cowboys. And I could see the Falcons doing that again with Patterson this week, since he's blossoming as a running back in Atlanta. You also saw the New England Patriots trying to do it and successfully doing it as well. The run defense has always been my biggest fear against this team. They got ran all over last year. Yes, they made some draft picks to put up the middle. Quentin Bohanna, Oso Digizua, who's been playing phenomenal up the middle, but they're still very susceptible to the run because, well, past them, Leighton Vander Esch, even though statistically had his best game against the Broncos of the season, he just ain't it. So I am fearing Patterson having a big day out of the backfield. And I'm also fearful of Matt Ryan because he's going to get the ball out fast. And he's going to be able to,
to a point.
Yeah. That's why they need to get to him. Gregory, Parsons, Odigizua, if they get to him, if they're around his feet, knock him off his spots, that's how they're going to win this game. Because if he has to move, if he's not just perfectly in rhythm all game long, that's when the Falcons collapse.
Yep. I was just about to say the same thing. He's good to a point, but he is a statue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you let him get the ball out, and it happened against like the Dolphins and other bad teams. And I mean, they just beat the Saints, which was pretty impressive.
Yep.
But
I always
just
take division games out of, because division games are always weird.
And it's like the Saints are on a weird path where they're just going every other game.
Yep.
I always joke about that with Mike Evans in fantasy. You go every other.
Mm-hmm.
One, you're like, oh my God, this is the greatest receiver of all time. And then the next week it's like, okay, that was a very solid 2 points that you got me.
Thank you very much.
But that's how the Saints have been playing. But no, the Falcons, from what we saw after week one, overreaction wise, they look like the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
Against the Eagles. They look just ill prepared on both sides of the ball. They've definitely improved. I think Cordarrelle Patterson is just like the future of running backs in the NFL, where it's almost like what kick returners used to be to the league are now what running backs are to the league. And you just have to have that speed. You got to be able to catch the ball and be like a hybrid running back, but also receiver type.
Yeah, he's like a bigger Tariq Cohen.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's definitely, if I'm looking at this game, he's my X factor. And just my other X factor is just composure. You know, like how do the Cowboys bounce back? But also it's the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they do. They're going to be up 13 in the third quarter, and you're going to look up and be like, how did they lose that game? We're going to see that win probability. It's going to be hovering at 87% Falcons, and that final score is going to flash, and it's going to be Cowboys victory.
Yep. And you're going to see it literally up here, and then it just drops.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster. The other thing I'm worried about a little bit is who's going to cover Kyle Pitts.
Nobody.
Are they going to have Diggs follow him? But Diggs has been a problem lately. Hold, double moves. Could it be Curse, which I think might, but I think they're going to have to bracket him. I don't have much more. Micah Parsons could be Defensive Player of the Year, not even Rookie of the Year. You're a guy.
That would hurt. That would hurt.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? His stats have been just unbelievable, rivaling Chase Claypool or Chase Young from last year. He has better stats than him already through 10 games. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's just.
I believe it. I know.
And then my biggest thing is how does Dak bounce back in this game? Last week against the Broncos was arguably his worst game in the NFL ever. He was rusty. He was missing CeeDee Lamb by 15 yards down the field. What could help him in this game is Michael Gallup should be back. He's a full participant in practice. He's really his deep guy. He loves Gallup. They have such a good connection. So I think that's going to help him feel a little more comfortable. But I'm also worried about what's going to happen with Cedric Wilson now, because he's been playing so well. But I think him playing so well is making everyone forget. Because someone asked me today, like, you think Gallup gets his job back? I'm like, yes. Gallup gets it. Like, people forget he was having an absolutely monster game week 1 against Tampa before he got hurt. Gallup's a very good wide receiver. Yes, he gets his job back immediately.
I was looking at him in fantasy. I'm not going to lie. I had to bolster the running back position, but I was very much like, I kind of want to put a claim in on Michael Gallup. I might still do it and just stash him on the bench, depending on how this week goes.
And then 2 last things for me, and then I'll let you kick around the Eagles. One, it sounds like they're going to go with the same offensive line in this game. Terrence Steele at left tackle, who looked absolutely horrendous and awful and not in the left tackle. He played well for 6 games at right tackle, but they tried to move him over to left tackle, and he's not it. I don't know if he's just not a left tackle. I don't know if him playing next to arguably already a Hall of Famer in Zach Martin really helped him out, or what. I wanted to see them switch, leave Steele at right tackle. He's been playing well there. He's young, and put Lyle Collins at left tackle, who played left tackle in college. He's supposed to be this all-pro. He should be able to move. But it sounds like they're keeping Steele at left while Tyron Smith is out, even though they didn't announce him out yet this week. I don't think we're going to see him again until Thanksgiving. So what that means for me is you got to have tight ends on the left side. You have to have running backs there. And if it were me, I would have McGovern playing tight end, McGovern playing fullback, have him on the left side as much as possible to help him out because, this team has to give Dak some time in this game. And then Greg Zuerlein on COVID protocol, so he probably will not be playing in this game. They had a kicker workout between Brett Maher, who kicked for the Cowboys, and Lurhan Hajilarahu, and he won. That guy. He went 12 for 12 field goals in the workout. So now Lurhan Hajilarahu will be the Cowboys kicker on Sunday.
I can't wait for him to miss his first 2 kicks and then drill a game winner.
Yep,
and you're
absolutely.
like, where did this guy come from?
And then everybody's going to be like, is he the new kicker? Should Greg Zuerlein lose his job? It's going to be all over Get Up all week.
Yep.
Is Greg Zuerlein out in Dallas? But the spread's 9.5. If I'm a betting man, I'm taking the Falcons with the points because I think it's going to be closer than a 10-point game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Falcons aren't bad, but I don't know. I agree with you on that one.
Cowboys should win, but take the Falcons with the points.
Got it. Not my odds crowd picks that we're about to do, but I'll keep that as a mental note. Would you like to dabble in the Eagles a little bit?
I would not like to, but I know we're forced to because the show is called Birds vs. Boys. So.
Well, listen, I need some help. We're playing the Broncos, and clearly they've emasculated.
I can't help you with that.
Yeah, apparently not. Apparently not. I guess we just have to try to. Yeah, well, the way things have been going in the secondary, I don't think we have an answer for Tim Patrick or Patrick Starr. It really doesn't matter at this point.
Also, real quick, against the Broncos, they had 3 of their 5 offensive linemen were backups playing against the Cowboys. They could not get pressure. And that they lost Patrick Surtain in the middle of the game, so you don't have to play against Surtain either. He's out a couple weeks. So, and they couldn't do anything. It's just one of those, you get punched in the face, not your day, move on. But yeah, I don't know. Don't let Williams run it up the gut. Cover Tim Patrick. And yeah, good luck.
We'll try. Yeah, Godspeed, I guess.
In Denver, too.
In Denver. Yeah, I think Denver's a really tough place to play. I'm still not a buyer into the Broncos. I think that law of averages was bound to happen where they started 3-0, and now they've kind of recovered to this point, even with the win last week.
Yep.
I think the keys remain the same for the Eagles. Healthy balance of the run and the pass. I know that's the most cliche thing ever, but it clearly worked. We ran the ball 39 times, and it worked. Only threw it 17 times. 3 people had double-digit rushes, so this strategy is clearly working. They finally signed Jordan Howard. I was unreal that I'm putting like waiver claims in on Jordan Howard in 2021. It's just fascinating. And then, like you said, Surtain out this week, so let's keep feeding DaVonta Smith. He just seemingly is always getting open. It's every route he runs
him when he's in the corner of the end zone.
Yes. Yep. See, and that's the Jalen Hurts experience right now, where it's like, yeah, he led the game-winning drive for a touchdown. Great drive. Awesome somersault.
Yep.
Would have broke my neck.
Oh, yeah.
Hits, stays in the pocket. Great throw to DaVonta Smith for the game-tying touchdown. But also, at the end of the half, he misses DaVonta Smith. So you're kind of working with hits and misses right now. You know?
It's a seesaw.
It's a seesaw. Yes. That's a great way to describe it. We're kind of on the seesaw with Jalen Hurts right now. Best way to help him out, run the ball. But also, the defense. I have had it. I have had it. If I am Jonathan Gannon, I am going to be like an 8-year-old playing Madden and just do engage 8 on every single play, because what else can you do at this point? This is insane, the statistical pace that they're on. And where they draw the line is Teddy freaking Bridgewater. If he is putting up 80% completion percentage, like
he's
Mahomes
an accurate thrower of the football.
He's not this good. He's just not that good. That nobody is this good that they should be doing what they're doing to the Eagles. We're talking 80% completion percentage every time these guys touch the field.
It is wild.
I don't know how it continues, but if I'm Jonathan Gannon, like I said, take the 8-year-old strategy approach to playing Madden and blitz on every single play. As dumb as it sounds, it's the only thing that can save you, because clearly nothing else is working.
No, nothing's working because they stink. Is Slay playing in this game? With the hammy?
I don't know. We got a few injuries now. Josh Sweat has a concussion. I think Slay might be might be injured. So it's gonna, and Avonte Maddox hurt his knee as well. So a little bit banged up on that side of the ball. We'll see.
You know what I hate about watching games in Denver?
The incomplete.
Oh God, yes.
Oh man, I remember playing there back in the McNabb days, and I think that was the season we won the Super Bowl. You're like, that was one of our losses. I could be wrong, but it was like that era, and just we were down, so we were throwing a lot, and it was just go.
I hear their fans are just nasty people too.
Really?
I've heard that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I was just giving them credit. Now I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know. Shout out branded AJ going out there supporting the Birds this weekend.
Well, we'll have to get boots on the ground report of what their fans are really like.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect them to be like the classless fans. I don't know why. I just don't, Denver doesn't strike me as like a
just fucking
mean
smoking
city.
and
Yeah, I was going to say they seem to have other interests that can make you less aggressive.
A little calmer.
Yep. So, yeah, I think the strategy remains the same on offense. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I thought Nick Sirianni coached his best game since week 1. He clearly seems to be getting it, which is nice. That you can trust your head coach. That's all.
He was not a happy camper when whoever threw that bouquet of flowers at him.
Can I address that? I think that wasn't a mean thing. I think that was someone who doesn't get humor.
Nick Sirianni not getting humor?
No. The person who threw it.
Okay.
I think they thought that would be funny. Like, oh, you're throwing him a bouquet of flowers. But no, you can't throw things at people when they're not expecting it. They didn't get how that would be perceived by him and the rest of the general public.
Yeah, like the people dressing up as flowers and stuff like that was funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, throwing something at him, not funny.
Yes.
Our
tweet drunk idea
last week about him being a farmer dancing around.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
Throwing a farmer's pick at him, not funny.
Listen, if you're going to the game this week and you have a flower idea, please submit it to @BirdsVsBoysPod, and we will tell you funny or not funny. Funny or die.
That should be our new.
That'd be a good idea for
segment.
A show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never heard of funny or die before.
I was about to say, good thing no one came up with that idea before.
Oh, God.
So I think the Eagles are +3 right now. I think that's just because they're on the road. This is one of those things where I think if they were at home, they'd be -3.
Yep.
I just feel like this next part of the schedule is so many 50-50 games. This is where we're going to learn, are they any good? Are there any pieces worth keeping? Because you've got Broncos, then you've got Saints, and then you've got a few division games and stuff like that coming up.
They can win. We're going to learn. They could win those back to back.
What, the Broncos and the Saints?
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll catch the Saints on a bad week.
Yeah.
You know that little dog that is on TikTok that everybody loves? That's No Bones or Bones.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a No Bones Day or a Bones Day. I think the way that the Saints are going, last week was No Bones. This week will be Bones Day. And then we'll catch them on No Bones Day. So I'm pretty confident the Eagles might win that one.
And where is that game?
I think it's in Philly.
Okay. Well, that works. No bones.
Let me think. It would be in Philly because we played Carolina and we played Atlanta on the road already. So that means NFC South, we would have to play them at home. Bang.
So you have the opposite of what Dallas has coming up, but after the Falcons, they play the Chiefs and the Raiders within 5 days.
Well, Godspeed. You're going to play one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, future Hall of Famer, and also Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And those two matchups with the Raiders and the Chiefs. So,
and only one of them lost to the Giants this year.
Yeah, I can't believe that future Hall of Famer Derek Carr lost to the Giants.
Such a shame.
Oh man. All right, but that's about all I got on the Eagles. Just because I'm looking for progression on offense, and then on defense, I'm looking for just any signs of life.
Yep.
At all, just any incompletions, any sacks, any fumbles. Anything like that.
Just air.
Yeah.
It's like when you look at somebody when they're sleeping, to see if their chest is moving a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Are you alive? Okay, you're alive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank God you're alive. Yeah. All right. Still has a pulse. All right, so that covers it for the Eagles, but we're not going to dive too deep into them because we've got our interview right now with Brenden Deeg of At Football Host. Also, like I said, big member of Eagles Twitter. So we're going to do a deep dive into everything that's been going on with the team leading up to this point at about the halfway point, and then talking about the upcoming game with the Broncos as well. So here it is, our interview with Brenden Deeg, presented by Stateside Vodka.
All right, Aidan, excited for another phenomenal guest here to join us on Birds vs. Boys. He's a writer at Football, the National Football Post, correct?
Yep.
National Football Post. And you're the co-host of the Double Doink podcast, which that was one of my worst experiences, even though I'm not a Bears fan, just watching that in disbelief as a Cowboys fan. It's Brenden Deeg joining us from Canada, right?
Canada, yep, just outside of Toronto.
Seems like there's a ton of Eagles fans in Canada.
Honestly, I think Eagles fans, like the most people I know are either Eagles fans or Bills fans nowadays because the Bills starting to get good. So we're about an hour and a half away from Buffalo. So bandwagon Bills fans nowadays. But
that's interesting. They got to do a deep dive into how everybody ended up an Eagles fan up there. But I appreciate it. I love it. Well, let's get right into it. What inspired me to reach out was one of your tweets. We've been following each other for a while, but one really stuck out, and I used it the other night. Carr, Mahomes, Dak, and Herbert's combined numbers against the Eagles defense: 108 for 128, 1,195 yards, 12 TDs. Good job, Gannon. Mm-hmm. So Jonathan Gannon this week said that things need to change. Thank you, Captain Obvious. But we're halfway through the season. Do you think there's anything that he could do differently to change this death by a million cuts defense?
Yeah, I think he should be playing more press man. I think he shouldn't be so just predictive, I guess. Because when they lost to Herbert, I looked at Herbert's numbers. I was like, this is very similar to the other games that the Eagles have lost against Carr, against Mahomes. So I went through the numbers. I was like, I'm curious to see kind of how this all stacks up. And they all have very similar numbers. The Eagles defense is kind of a defense of two teams right now. Are we playing a good quarterback or are we playing a bad quarterback? Their 3 wins have been against Sam Darnold. Who are the other ones against? And Matt Ryan, I guess he can kind of throw that either way, depending, because it was the first week, different scheme. And then what was the other one I'm missing here? Jared Goff. There you go. So you had like when they play bad quarterback, they're able to win and get pressure on them. And when they're playing good quarterbacks, they're picking them apart. The thing is, like, there's a great play. It was third and 7. At the very beginning of the game, the Eagles had the Chargers at like the 7-yard line, their own 7-yard line. They just need to get off the field first down. And then they end up throwing like a 10-yard out to Keenan Allen. Steven Nelson is like playing 15 yards back. Like, I could have ran that route. I could have ran that out route and Herbert could have hit me. Like, there was no, like, it was where's like kind of like the pressure? Where's the push to kind of get off the field there? Like, that would have been a huge stop. You should have had him manned up. Keenan Allen's the one guy in like the NFL you don't want to give free space to. Like, he's a great route runner when he can get space. So I don't know. I honestly hate watching this defense. Like, I haven't hated, I guess I hated the 2020 Eagles offense, but like maybe back to 2015 Eagles defense. Like, this is one of the most hated units I've watched as an Eagles fan. It's so boring to watch. It's like repetitive. Just don't beat us deep. But like, it doesn't matter if you get 8 plays and go 80 yards and 2 plays 80 yards. It's going to end up being the same result. So I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to fix anything. This is his philosophy. Defensive coordinators are pretty stubborn. They don't really like to change up what their philosophy is and what they go about, what they do. So I'm not bullish on this defense. I don't think they're gonna end up changing anything. I'd expect more of the same. The other thing too is they're relying on this defensive line to get pressure. They're relying on this D line to kind of get after the quarterback. Just not happening right now. This D line is the most invested unit of this defense, most invested unit, and the whole team. They've put a ton of money into it. It's just not working. Part of it is because of the scheme, because they're getting the ball out quickly. So I don't know. We got a lot of bad quarterbacks coming up, so maybe they'll look better. But I can't stand watching this defense anymore. It sucks.
It's rough. It's very rough. Now, Teddy Bridgewater is the most aggressively mediocre quarterback I know, so I have no idea how this week is going to go. But
no, you're right.
You kind of touched on it. The scheme, clearly, like you brought up examples and everything. Now, it also is a pretty under-talented kind of unit. So do you think which is the leading cause of the problem? Do you think it's Jonathan Gannon's scheme, or do you think if he had better players, we'd be seeing a better performance out of these guys? Which do you think is like the real problem?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I think Gannon deserves a ton of blame. Like, let's look at it this way. The Eagles' offense is outperforming the Eagles' defense right now, in my opinion. The Eagles' offense is 14th in DVOA. The Eagles' defense is 24th in DVOA. So, and if you take a look at Sirianni right now, the offense is outperforming its talent. Like they have backup guards in right now. Brandon Brooks has been out. Isaac Seumalo has been out. So they've been rotating guards, 9 different offensive line combinations. I know like Jalen Hurts is not as much as I want Hurts to succeed. I don't think he's a top 18, 19 quarterback in the NFL right now. So they are playing to the play. They're getting more out of the talent on the offense than they're getting out of the talent on the defense. The defense, you can argue, has the most talent. The best 2 players on the team are probably Fletcher Cox and Darius Slay. And those 2 guys are on the defensive side of the ball. So I think it's a little bit of both. The Eagles defense has been, they haven't infused a lot of talent into that defense in a long time. Like all the draft picks have gone to the offense. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Jalen Reagor, you name it. All these high-end draft picks that they used on the offensive side of the ball and they missed on. So they end up going back to that well the next year to try to re-up their mistake. And none of the defense, and they haven't been able to kind of infuse this talent with defense. So I think it's a little bit of both, but I do believe Jonathan Gannon deserves a ton of blame here.
Gotcha. I agree.
All right. So shifting gears a little bit, it's November 10th today. So the Cowboys are sitting at 6-2, but they have a bit of a tough stretch coming up. They're going to have to play the Chiefs and the Raiders within a 5-day span. Eagles and Giants 3-6, Washington football team 2-6. It blows my mind that I can even ask this question right now, but is this division over? Or could it get interesting down the stretch?
It's over. The Cowboys are going to lock this division up. I know you're not going to want to hear this, Aidan. I know you're an Eagles fan, but I'm been pretty big on the Cowboys since about week 2, week 3. I think you guys got a good unit. I think you guys are I think you guys are probably a top 3 threat in the NFC. I look what happened with the Eagles. The Eagles are probably the second best team in the NFC East, if that means anything. And the Cowboys destroyed them on primetime football, right, on Monday night. I think it's over. I think the Cowboys just had to slip up against Denver. It happens. It's hard. It's hard to win 14, 15 games. Teams have bad games, right? It happens. So I think it's completely over. I would be very, very shocked if the Cowboys aren't benching their guys by week 16, week 17, week 18.
So I like to hear.
Unfortunately, I was about to say, unfortunately,
unfortunately, that's how I feel. Like this is an unbiased opinion as a guy that writes for the whole NFL. That's just how I see it.
Yeah. Now, well, I know we've been pretty bleak so far, but let's talk about positive things. So you brought up the offense kind of outperforming their talent, and we've seen a lot of growth in recent weeks. So Nick Sirianni, I feel like, has grown as a play caller. We've seen flashes from Jalen Hurts. DaVonta Smith has looked great. Do you think that was like a flash in the pan? We played some bad teams, had some garbage time looks, or do you think this trend continues and we continue to see growth through the rest of the season?
It's funny. Like Sirianni has gone to kind of the extremes on both sides. Like if you look at it, he was extremely adamant that he was going to throw the football the first 6 weeks, like 35 pass attempts. He was completely on that side. And then he just completely did a 360. And now he's completely extremely wants to run the football. So when he wants to do something, he does it to the fullest. So I think it's staying this way. I don't see why he would kind of transition his offense back to what he kind of had the first 6 weeks. And this is the way that this team should be playing. If you have Jalen Hurts as a quarterback, if you have an offensive line that's pretty good at run blocking, even with some injuries, this is the way that this team should be playing on offense. So look, I don't think they're ever going to be a top 10 unit. Like I don't think they're ever going to be blowing up the scoreboard, but I think if you came up to me and told me at the beginning of the year they'll be 14th in DVOA by week 18 on offense, I would have said, sign me up. That's probably a win. So where they are right now is probably what they're going to be going forward.
Good. Yeah. Now you brought up Jalen Hurts. You don't really see him as like a top 18, 19 quarterback in the NFL right now. There's a good chance that we're going to have 3 first-round picks if Carson keeps playing well and keeps playing just in general. So do you invest draft capital in a quarterback, or do you think the defense is so depleted that you have to use all of that draft arsenal on the defensive side of the ball?
You're not going to like this answer. I have no idea. Like the first 9 weeks have given me no information on what they should do. I don't know if that, like, again, I'm sorry for the bad answer, but I am still so undecided on Jalen Hurts and what they should do in the future that I couldn't give you a solid answer right now. I'm really curious to see how these rest of these weeks go. The first 6 weeks to 7 weeks, in my opinion, were just thrown out the window because the scheme was so bad. They didn't really get a good look at him. They weren't kind of playing to his strengths. The last 2 weeks they have been, and he's been playing better. better. So I wish they kind of did that the first 6, 7, 8 weeks so we could have had an idea of what they looked like. I still don't have a strong opinion on what they should do. I have no idea. Would I want them to go get a quarterback? If probably, yeah. Like I'm not 100%. Like I'm about 30% confident that Hurts is going to be the guy. Like I can see it. Like you can see flashes, but there's the arm talent somewhere not there. But he's exciting. Like he had 3 first down scrambles last week. That was the first three third and long scrambles last week for a first down. That was the most in the NFL in over 5 years. So like, he has a flash plays like that where he can scramble out the pocket and get first downs, and it looks cool. Like we love seeing that. But I don't know. Like I wish I had like kind of a better read on the guy. So I'm hoping he balls out. I'm hoping he plays well because I would love to get some defensive talent there. It would suck to trade 3 first-round picks for a young quarterback again, or invest or some sort of young quarterback again. We're just doing the same thing. We're trusting Howie Roseman again to get this right when he hasn't got it right. So I personally, the best case scenario is that they continue give Hurts at least one more year and use these 3 first-round draft picks and infuse his team with talent because there's not a lot of young talent in this team at all. So that would be the best case scenario. But you need a quarterback to win in this league, right? So that's they're kind of in no man's land right now.
Yeah, and I would give the same exact percentage. I'd say 30%, but then it's also hard to tell when you're constantly playing from behind and stuff like that. So
exactly,
I'm right there with you. And any young quarterback who they draft and come in, and if they have to use draft capital on that, then he's just going to be surrounded by a lack of talent as well. So I think that's kind of it's a double-edged sword right now.
Exactly.
All right, from one Eagle who you can't figure out what he is to a Cowboy that I have a question. What is Trevon Diggs?
I think he's a playmaker. I think people kind of harp on his yards too much, like he's giving up yards. Like, look, if you get a turnover, if you get an interception, be minusing about 50 to 60 yards off of whatever he did earlier that game. Look, he's really exciting. I would be fired up if I was a Cowboys fan that he's playing really well. They desperately needed him to play well. Like everyone was saying that they were looking at a cornerback earlier on the draft, right? It didn't happen. Surtain didn't fall to them. JC Horn fall to them, and probably good. It looks good now, right? Like now you added a good linebacker. Jalen Smith fell off a cliff, so you needed Micah Parsons kind of step in there. So yeah, I think Trevon Diggs is it. Look. It's hard to play lockdown coverage in the NFL as a quarterback anymore. Like you're not going to see guys like Darrelle Revis and like that anymore. Like get turnovers, make plays. That is the most important thing a defensive player can do, especially at the cornerback position. So I think he's a star. I think he's a stud.
It blows my mind how PFF does not give credit to interceptions at all.
No, it's Minka Fitzpatrick's like the worst rated safety on PFF right now. So they're not very good at targeting safeties and cornerbacks. So it's more of like an offensive line kind of stat. That's where I use PFF. Yeah.
All right. So we have one more question from me. Give us your favorite Cowboys Eagles moment or game or memory that you have all the time.
I gotta go 44-6. Was that the final score of that game, right? Yep. When the defense just kind of took over that game. That was for the playoffs, right? That was the Michael Bush Raiders game where he kind of took over, beat the Buccaneers. Eagles squeezed in the playoffs, right? That was cool. Kyle Orton's throat pick to Brandon Boykin was that one comes to mind.
I was at that game.
You were at God, that must have sucked for you. That's a good one. I'm trying to think of other ones. Like if I'm going the other side, I remember Terrell Owens lighting us up in his first game back. That sucked. And I also remember Des Bryant completely throwing up the X 3 times over Bradley Fletcher that game.
I was at both of those games.
That game made that was probably one of the most depressed I've been as Eagles fan watching that game. Because that's when I knew it was over. Like this team sucks. Let's scrap this. But yeah, you guys have had our number lately, right? Like you guys have completely you got that the Roswell Douglas one where he swallowed the ball up, Marty Cooper right in his hands. The game where the refs decided just not to call anything on us, Dallas Goedert, the offense pass interference, and then the kickoff return. I remember
fumble.
But no, there's been a lot of good moments. I think the 44-6 game comes to mind. That was like that was when I was younger, so that one definitely comes to mind for sure.
You literally named 3 games I was at.
Yeah,
love it.
Wow, man, good for you. You've seen a lot of Eagles Cowboys moments.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
All right, last question for me as well. So, tweet from you here that says, I'm tired of people acting like they don't like Nickelback. You can admit you like them. It's okay. So I'm going to give you the floor. As the first Nickelback supporter I know, present your case. It is all you.
Okay, why is everyone acting like they don't listen to Nickelback? They're fine. They're like, they get too much hate. They have bangers. They have good songs. You know, it's funny. When COVID hit, I had tickets to see Nickelback on my birthday, July 7th, and then COVID hit and it got canceled. I still pissed off about that. But no, they're a good band. I just feel like they get too much hate, and I feel like they think it's trendy and cool not to like them, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like they're fine. They have good songs. They're not some like crazy good band, but they're not awful. Like if you have a few beers in you and you listen to Nickelback, your head bobbing and you're singing along.
Love it.
All right.
It's valid.
Before we let you get out of here, let everybody know where they can read your work, where they can listen to the podcast, how they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, so you can follow me at Brenden Deeg NFP on Twitter. You can read my stuff at the nationalfootballpost.com. I do game previews, anytime touchdown picks there. I'm also on Touchdown Town on Bets TV Media, which you'll go on every Sunday morning. And Friday on the Double Doink podcast, I have Ariel Helwani, the UFC reporter. He is coming on Friday. So he's a Canadian guy born in Montreal. He's a monster. He's got like over 1 million followers on everything. He's one of the biggest. He probably is the biggest Canadian sports reporter. So we're looking forward to having him on too. But yeah, check out the podcast, check out my work on Twitter, check out my work at the Football Post, and thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this was great. I appreciate you coming on. I know we've been following each other for a while, so I was like, this is a great get. So I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, we'd love to come on anytime, guys. Thanks.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you, brother. Have a great day. Aidan, another absolutely phenomenal interview. It was wham, bam, thank you, ma'am type interview, just like we like it. A lot of energy, a lot of information. I mean, we definitely have to have Brenden back on.
Oh, that was perfect. The fire and the energy, that is exactly what I was looking for. I agreed with a lot of the points that he was saying. We're in the same age group, so like we share similar like Eagles memories and Eagles opinions. So we could not beat that. That was a phenomenal guest right here at the halfway point.
Him naming 3 games I was at as memories, I was just like, okay.
That's my favorite Eagles game too, the 44-6.
Yeah, luckily I wasn't at that one, but the Kyle Orton one, that was,
that's in my top 3.
That was when Shady McCoy had the belt, right?
Yeah, when we won the division. I think that's my second.
Yep.
That sums it up.
All right, we got picks to do. We have TikToks to do, and then we'll get out of here. What do you want to do first?
Let's hit the picks first. How about this? 2 for 2 again last week.
Are you? I don't even remember what my picks were.
I had the Patriots, and then I had Cardinals 49ers over. And the 49ers scored a little bit in garbage time and helped me out. Thank you to Colt McCoy.
I don't even think. Oh, yeah. Nope. Those are power rankings. I don't think I even have my picks from last week. Oh, well. I'll say I won 2-0.
That, helps our stats.
Yep. 2 for 2. All right. You want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I will knock it out. Actually, I'll go first. So I have Chargers, Vikings. I have Chargers minus 2.5. I think the line is minus 3 right now. I don't like, everyone knows at this point, I don't like the round numbers. So I'm going minus 2.5. I think the Chargers are back on track. I think there are some holes in the Vikings defense, just like there were holes in the Eagles defense that Justin Herbert and that Chargers offense can exploit. So, and we don't know Dalvin Cook thing. I don't know what's going on there. I just like my chances better with the Chargers. Vikings coming off 2 tough losses. I just trust Justin Herbert in that offense.
All right, so my first one here, it scared me a little bit once you started talking about this team and how they're bones, no bones, bones, no bones. So I've seen the Titans at 2.5 and seen them at 3. I got them at 2.5. Titans minus 2.5 in New Orleans. The Titans seem like they just all they do is win right now. They've been rolling even with out Derrick Henry. They have McNichols going hard and Peterson. So all day is there. I don't know what the Saints team is, but I do think that they are not as good as this Titans team. The Titans team should be able to go to New Orleans and win this game. And I think they can win it by a field goal. So even though this is a bones week for the Saints, I'm still taking the Titans minus 2.5.
Got to be careful with the bones week. Got to be careful. All right. We'll keep an eye on that one. The second one I've got Colts Jags over under 47.5. I know that the Jaguars just played a game where 15 points were scored, but I think their defense can usually be scored on, and the Colts defense is not good. It's just not good. They gave up over 500 yards to Lamar Jackson alone. Even last week, they gave up a bunch of garbage time touchdown and yards to the Jets. A similar situation could play out where the Colts start to run away, score a lot of points, and then give up garbage time to Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. So I've got over under 47.5 there for Colts Jags.
All right, my second game, and this only happens if Aaron Rodgers plays. If Aaron Rodgers does not play Sunday, this bet is null and void. Okay? Saying that right there. There's your warning.
That's fair.
But Aaron Rodgers ate all the clay, cleansed his body, went on Pat McAfee twice. His girlfriend ripped some poor guy in Los Angeles, but he's back. And also coming back is Mr. Unlimited. His fingers all ready to go. He's making videos, all dramatic with his fingers. Seahawks defense kind of stinks. They give up a lot of yards. Packers defense has a lot of injuries on the back end. Jair Alexander still out. So I'm going over 49.5 points. Both of these quarterbacks coming back the same week against each other. It's like the Avengers coming together for something perfect. I think both of them are going to put up points, and I'm definitely seeing the over 49.5 points in this one. And that is only if both Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson play in this game.
Got to put the asterisk, but I like it. I do. I agree. I think if both of them are on the field, I think you got a good one there. So
Fireworks.
again, download Odds Crowd to make those bets. Those are our Odds Crowd's picks of the week.
Joe's going to
Now
win the whole
it's
thing,
time.
isn't he?
In college football, yes. I went 1-5. I don't know what's going on, but I hit everything in NFL and nothing in college.
See, I'm the opposite.
I don't get it. It's rough. All right. It is time for the TikTok of the week. We'll bring Vince in here.
Fellas, how we doing? Forgot to turn my light on.
I was
There we
about to
go.
say, didn't know where Vince went.
You're a little blurry there, Vincent.
There you go. Oh, well.
I was doing this.
Unlimited.
Great sound drop.
Love it.
He is so corny.
So
but
corny.
if the Eagles get him in the offseason, I will immediately not care.
Your fan base will eat him alive.
No, we've wanted him since 2012. I think we'll like him.
Still.
All right. So TikTok we're doing tonight. This has been the hot topic of the week. Odell Beckham is no longer a Cleveland Brown. He cleared waivers, so he is free to sign wherever he would like. We are doing top 3 destinations for Odell Beckham Jr.
Yes, we are.
You guys ready? Normal triangle, 3 each.
Let's go.
At 3, I've got the Patriots just because I feel like when there's smoke, there's fire. There's enough reports out there that there's mutual interest to believe that there really is mutual interest. I don't get the fit, but again, if there's mutual interest, there's mutual interest.
I'm throwing an honorable mention out there, and then my 3. Honorable mention is the Colts. I would love to see him there with Carson Wentz. I think that dynamic would be absolutely outrageous, and I think he really would help that team. But 3, I'm going the Patriots as well. Like you said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Apparently, Bill Belichick is all in on getting OBJ. And this is the exact type move New England would do, like the Randy Moss back in the day. They don't have to pay him a lot of money. It's a half-season rental. He's already getting paid. He's double dipping. So this is a Bill Belichick move. So I'm putting New England at 3.
3. I'm doing a homer pick here. I would love to see him on the Eagles. That's a lie. I wouldn't like to see him on the Eagles, but I think it would make the team at least a little bit better. And I think you only get him for a season. I'm not sure how this. He's just a flat out free agent, right? You just you have to come to a whole new deal.
Yep.
I don't see him being here very long, regardless. So I think having Odell for a short period of time, kind of like how Alshon Jeffrey was supposed to be. If he I was gonna say if he can avoid the drama, but Alshon did that too. And I think on the Eagles he shores up a okay receiving core. You have a legit 2-3 option.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll get more than a target. Maybe he will get a target.
Yeah, which would be an upgrade. All right, at 2, I have the Seahawks. I think that the deep ball that Russell Wilson throws matched with Odell Beckham would be a match made in heaven. I don't think his dad will have to post any YouTube clips of Russell Wilson overthrowing him like he had to do with Baker Mayfield. So at 2, I have the Seahawks.
Same brain as always. 2, I have the Seattle Seahawks. I think he wouldn't have to be, obviously, the number 1 there. They have DK Metcalf. They have Lockett. I think he would just fit in perfectly with those 2 receivers. And Mr. Unlimited, I think he's the missing piece that offense would need. And I think he would look actually pretty cool in their jerseys as well, which means something also. So Odell, 2 for me, going to the Seahawks.
2 for me, I have the Raiders. I think it's a bad team. I think they have a bad quarterback. I think you get a good wide receiver in there, make them look better. They're down a wide receiver, so I think maybe Derek Carr could look like a 10 to 20 quarterback with a good receiver in there.
All right, and at 1, I have the Green Bay Packers. This is the most obvious, surefire pick of all time if you're Odell Beckham. Go play with Aaron Rodgers if you're worried about your quarterback overthrowing you in the past. If you want to rebrand your career, go play with an MVP quarterback. You don't have to have the full attention of the defense because they have Davante Adams, and you claim you want to play for a winner, where the Packers are obviously Super Bowl contenders as well. If you're worried about the nightlife in Green Bay, you only have to be there for half of a season and then go sign a 5-year deal in Miami. But this is the most obvious, sure choice that Odell can make is the Green Bay Packers.
1 for me. I think this is the first time in TikTok history we have the exact same list. It's the Packers. It has to be the Packers. It has to be Green Bay. Go play with Aaron Rodgers. Don't pick the team, pick the quarterback. But actually, in this case, you can pick the team and the quarterback because they're both good, okay? Go. I hate this as a Cowboys fan. I don't want him to go to Green Bay because then that just makes them even better. But you have Dylan and Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers and unfortunately not anymore Big Bob Tunyon, but Davante Adams. And you add Odell Beckham Jr., I mean, come on. It's stupid. You don't have to be the guy, but you can still be the guy. If you want to win, if you want to do anything, like you said, if you want to revive your career, go to Green Bay. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Sound the unanimous alarm. I don't think you guys have actually ever had the same list.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I feel like that's something I would have remembered. Number 1 for me, though, I have New England. Like you said, Belichick's all the way in, and it doesn't surprise me because you guys always talk about that shiny new toy syndrome that the Eagles and the Cowboys like to have. Belichick likes to go antiquing. He likes to find stuff that has worked, and it still holds some value, and he'll pull it off the shelf, dust it off, throw it in his offense. I think New England makes a lot of sense. I also think the Packers make a lot of sense. They unfortunately didn't make it on my list. I had to throw some other teams on there. But I think New England makes too much sense here. But again, it's a coin flip between New England and Green Bay.
Broken, but would be fun to fix.
Yep.
He's Woody from Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that meme.
You give him to a
Broken.
creepy old guy, he'll fix him up real nice, make him brand new again.
Give him some
Great
play.
analogy by you.
Let's be ready to go. All right, Vincent, thank you.
All right.
That was fun.
Great show.
I
Great
feel
to be
better
back.
now after the loss against Denver. I got it out. Got the anger out in the beginning. We had the fun interview, some TikToks. I feel like a different person from an hour and 14 minutes ago.
I hope this was cathartic for you.
It was very much so.
I have more energy than when I started because, like I said, daylight savings time is killing me physically.
It's 8:35. I'm going to be in bed in 25 minutes.
I was about to tell you guys as soon as we signed off, I'm showering and I'm laying down.
Yeah.
I don't know what is going on, but the energy levels are just that a quarter tank to start the day every day, and then just go down from there.
Mhm.
But it was great. Thank
Drink
you for
coffee.
Brenden for no. I had caffeine and it's not helping. It's just I don't know what's going on with my body. But thank you to Brenden for coming on because he brought the fire, he brought the energy on a night when we needed it. And then should be a very fun weekend. Game day reaction pods will come out. This is the first weekend all year I have in my brain called whether the Eagles are winning or losing correctly. Every single time in my brain, I can honestly say I have no clue what happens this weekend. So should be fun. 4:05. Cowboys play a terrorist organization at 1 p.m. So we will see what happens, and we will see you for the game day reaction pods probably on Sunday night.
Let's go, Cowboys.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it. Yeah.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is
Dude,
gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That
Be
is.
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.